You are probably going to be skeptical here, but this is the most hopeful book you would ever have to guide you through the last months of a journey. Hi, everyone. I'm Sue Deagle, author of Do Loss, A New Way to Move Through Change, which is a memoir, companion, and playbook to walk you through your toughest times. And I'm also the creator of The Luminist, a weekly Substack, where I talk about loss, life, and vibrant living. Today, we are doing another video in the Loss Canon. And this is a book that I actually just read. So I want to do some really super current books that you could pick up at your local indie bookstore if you were so inclined. And this book, I'm going to put it in the stories section of the loss canon. I want to kind of expose you to different kinds of losses if that's your bag. So this one is A Beginner's Guide to, yep, dying, right? Because that's one of our biggest losses, dying, death of our loved ones, people around us, people close to us, acquaintances, but probably the one that we talk about the absolute least. I just picked this book up in London, and it's written by a Brit, Simon Boas, who has passed away since he wrote this book. He had throat cancer that went undiagnosed, and he wrote a couple of articles in his local newspaper that went viral, and that caused him to write this book overall. Again, it is filled with lightness in his voice. He's a mid-40s guy, and it just was remarkable in that way. I think in a cancer journey, it's so hard on you and everyone that you're leaving behind, and just wants to share with the world some ways of looking at it as you're walking toward the end of your life. And he does that with wit and grace and joy and tears too, because he also says, "Hey, I'm writing this book, but you don't see me behind the scenes when I'm also like crying and scared of leaving my wife alone," right? So that's all happening, and you can kind of get that feeling from the book. He's just like got some really like straight up chapters where he's just talking about the regular stuff, God and religion, counseling, other people's grief, psychedelics. He talks about that, miracle cures, hope, and acceptance. Now, this is one of my favorite chapters because I think we have the tendency to say to people, my friend Sally tried this miracle cure and she got better. Like, we want to give people hope. But we have to be careful of that consolation strategy. And that's like something that Boaz talks about a lot. It's like if you know that your medical situation is dire and someone comes to you and says, "No, you're gonna make it, you're gonna survive." That's actually not that great in the consoling department because you are working your way towards acceptance of your fate. And when people kind of come along and say, "No, it's actually all gonna be okay, you'll recover," he's recommending against that strategy. And he does that again in a very witty way. And the last part of the book, he has a great chapter on a beginner's guide to interacting with the dying. So he's giving us good consolation tips right there in that chapter. Ways you can show up, but not be too much in people's faces. The ways you can hover behind the scenes and come and bring what you have to bear to help with the circumstance. So again, I can't say enough about this book. It's such a surprise to have someone write with that level of lightness, but he's just trying to share with the reader what his end of life journey was. So, A Beginner's Guide to Dying, Simon Boas. Check it out.